I'm not a very good dancer, guys. Anyway, so I won't try. But today's video is this: how to move on the C players. How do I do that without too much, without or minimal disruption to the team? Because in every team that I come across, there's A, B, and C players. Sometimes even a D. You can classify them in however way you want. The goal always in every business. So I'm gonna answer this question for you because there's a question that's just come up on my lean group chat, or one of my lean group chats, I should say, that I'm involved in. And we do get this question a lot. How do we move someone on without, with minimal disruption, without causing problems amongst the team? The first thing is you should always make sure you are starting, if you're not already doing it, start to grade your team. You must do that. It's really, really important. You should know who your A's are, who your B's are, who your C's are. Hopefully you don't have too many C's. The goal is always to move the C's into the B category and then move the B's into the A's and just keep that journey going all the time. Doesn't matter how big your team is, whether it's 3 people, 33 or 333, 3,000, you should always make sure your leadership team is grading your people. It's a very helpful exercise to always be reviewing that at least once a month. So there's a saying that I want to talk about because you need to be very clear on this rule. It's called change the people or change the people. What does that mean? It means that you cannot tolerate forever behaviors that don't line up with your core values, that do not line up with your mission. So lean at its heart is all about a deep respect for people, right? And a deep respect for resources. But that does not mean you as a leader have to tolerate poor performance, poor behavior, poor attitudes, and things like that. If you are working really hard to, treat your people like owners and you're truly implementing 2-second lean, and I hope you are already. If you aren't, get on with it because it's really, really important. This will solve 99% of your business problems, by the way. And in our coaching, Premier Business through Premier Business Academy, the businesses that embrace this, which is what we train and coach them on from day one, the ones that embrace that, it literally solves 99% of their problems. It removes every day. There's less drama, less stress, less hassle, less problems, less struggle, less hours being worked, and more time for value-adding activities like proactive calling to customers, making more improvements, stripping out more waste, So really important. So change the people or change the people. So that means that if you can't change the people, e.g. turn someone from a C to a B, then to an A over time, and you got to set those kind of guidelines for yourself. Is that a 3-month journey? Is that a 6-month journey? How much time will you tolerate? And how much time have you got? How much can you afford to shift people up, or change the people, which means move them on, right? Change the people, get new people to replace them that share your values. So you've got to make sure you're very clear on your core values, very, very clear. Make a note of that. By the way, I recommend you take notes every time you listen to videos like this, because that's where you're going to really grow and learn and help to build a great business for you and your family and your people. So core values, be very clear on that, and be very, very clear on your core purpose or your mission, however you want to name that. It's very, very important, because if you're not clear on those, you're going to continue to hire the wrong people. I'm going to give you a few tips here. So I am answering this question for you, but bear with me. Recruit as a team. So if you haven't already done that, get on with that. So every time you go to recruit someone, you make sure that the team they're going to be working with, that they get to interview that person separately, together. Make sure you really do that properly, because then they take ownership of this person. And the same with, we can say it like this: hire and fire as a team. It's really, really important. So the thing I'm going to get to here is that if you want to move on C players with minimum disruption, you've got to make sure you're talking to your A players, saying, hey, by the way, what do you think of Henry's work? What do you think of Bob? What do you think of Mary? And people that you can trust and confide in. So you've got to be careful that those are the people, because you don't want a personal grievance claim on your hands, because we know what they cost. It can be huge money. If you're within the 90-day trial period, which has been reintroduced in New Zealand, which is a fantastic thing because it gives way more people more opportunity to get into work. I can tell you that for free in our business and also the businesses that we work with. It's such a fantastic initiative because it gives so many more people the opportunity to actually have a crack at a job. So if you're within that 90-day trial period, it's obviously a lot easier to move that person on. And you still got to follow the right procedures, so you can still end up with a PG, by the way. So follow the right procedures, follow the law around that, and you can move that person on fairly easily. But you've got to keep communicating with your team, and especially your A players, and say, hey, by the way, I'm worried about blah blah. What do you think of them? And have those conversations, and just say, I'm actually thinking that this guy's not gonna make it through his 90-day trial. If it's a full-time person and you've only just started on the lean journey and you've got these C and B players that just don't want to come on board, and you're trying, they're in the morning meetings and you're really giving it a go, and you still need to move them on, then you're going to need to follow process, either maybe a restructure in your business, maybe redundancy for some roles, maybe it has to come down to poor performance, and you go through the whole performance warning thing, which is super negative. But again, it's all about communication, especially with your A players. Make sure they are in the loop, they know what's going on, and you're communicating carefully. Talk to your lawyer too. I always advise that. Talk to your employment lawyer and just say, hey, how much can I talk to my A players, because I just don't want to lose them, I don't want to disrupt them, and they'll give you some guidelines around that as well. But we've always found in our business, and also all the businesses we work with, communication is absolutely key. And then another thing you've got to remember is that the 3 MUs. So we in English terms, it's variation, overburden, and then waste. So those are 3 things that C players are always going to keep causing you. They're going to drag your people down. And remember, lean is all about a deep respect for people and a deep respect for resources. So that's where this comes in as well. It's like, if you're not respecting your A players, you're not respecting the people that are really doing the hard work if you are not prepared to change the people or change the people. So that's back on you as a leader. I suggest you read a book called Improvement Starts With I, and it's on the Improvement Starts With I. It's on the with I. There you go, and that's on the Lean Play app, which is free. That's Paul Acker's app. You can get that for free, and then you can listen to this book for free as well. It's fantastic. Get your leadership team to listen to it as well, but that's where that concept is spoken about. So remember, you're adding variation, you're adding overburden, and you're adding waste if you carry on letting these people stay in your team. So you're doing yourself a disservice, you're doing your people a disservice, you're doing your customers a disservice, you're doing your family a disservice, all these things. Because remember, it's always that one player in your business, it's always the poor performers, the bad attitudes, the bad apples in the barrel that cause you 99% of your stress and drama as well. So think about that. It all comes from, the few. All the trouble comes from the few. So you got to remember that. Really important. And I always like to draw this picture here. It's like you got a bucket of water, beautiful clear water, and all it takes is one drop of milk to cloud that whole bucket of water. That's a really important concept to lay hold of, because and that's what happens. You can have 99 great people, one bad apple or bad egg, and they will cloud and ruin your whole culture. They can bring your culture to its knees, which is just crazy. You can't put up with that. So you've got to be, leadership is hard, right? We talk about that a lot. Leadership is hard, but remember, lean is the hard thing that makes everything easy, and lean is all about leadership. So you've got to get better at leading, and one of those things, you've got to get better at doing the uncomfortable things, right? And remember, growth happens outside your comfort zone. That might be your comfort zone right there, and all your growth is in this area, right? So one of those things is having these uncomfortable conversations. And we can talk all about how to improve those C's and B's in another video, but today this is what I'm answering this question. So how do we do this? And then think about the 9th waste, which we don't talk about much. The 8th waste, is wasted employee genius, right? So we know that the 8 deadly sins of waste, that's really the worst waste of all, because you're wasting this wonderful human potential in your team because you're not acting on this simple principle: change the people or change the people. So you're doing yourself a massive disservice. And then the 9th waste, we say, is office politics or politics. So those are often the people that are causing all the drama in the office. That's the 9th waste, which we don't talk about much. We don't publish it on our list of waste, but that's what some people call the 9th waste, and it's so true. It's just waste: drama, stress, hassle, stupid things. Save your drama for somewhere else, not here at ABC Group or Premier Group or wherever you work. So those are a few ideas on how to minimise the disruption, but you've got to be, you've got to be firm. You've got to be on the ball. You can't fluff around with this stuff. You can't dress it up. You can't put glitter on it. You need to. There's a saying about that. You can't put glitter on a whatever and make it look wonderful. I won't draw a picture. So really, you need to make this decision, minimise the disruption by running through these different things here, these tips. Again, it's all about leadership. It's all about getting outside your comfort zone, having those uncomfortable conversations. But the other thing is to do is when you need to make a people change, you need to do it quickly. So the longer you don't deal with it, the longer that you end up with problems and more hassles, and then things can snowball out of control really, really quickly. We've seen that so many times with different clients, and from the Premier Business Academy, is that they come to us with these issues, and we see it with other businesses that we visit or that we know about, and it's because they're not dealing with these issues quickly enough. They let them go on and on and on. So don't let it linger. Do not delay. Just get on with it. If it's obvious and you've given this person 100 chances or however many chances you want to give them, one of my theories is give them every opportunity to improve, every single opportunity. Give them the tools. They're joining the morning meetings. They're having all the training. They're doing, they're participating in every possible thing, but they're just still not, their attitude's wrong. They don't want to be part of it. They're not sharing the values. It's obvious they're not a culture fit. Culture fit is so important. Very, very important. That's really kind of ties all this together. If they're not a culture fit and it's just obvious, then your A players are going to know that. You need to communicate, but when you're asking this question here with minimum disruption, well, you're going to have more and more disruption if you don't take action. So you're better to take action, minimise disruption going forward. I hope that helps. Any questions? If I haven't answered your question properly, put some questions in the comment or in the comments below, and we'll build out this in a further video. Thank you so much for watching. Go to premierbusinessacademy.co.nz for all your free resources to help you grow your business. Thanks a lot.